What's up, everybody? Welcome back to On the Card, presented by TRHS Sports. We're up to our 13th episode, and today we are going to hit 100 bets. Exciting times coming to fruition here on the card. We're doing this one bright and early. The Lightning game kicks off in about 2 hours, which is pretty unreal. But we're not really going to have much going on today, so that's a fair warning to everybody. This one really is going to be my smallest day that I've ever done since starting off with this podcast. I don't have high expectations for the day. We've had a couple rough days in a row now. Yesterday was just a 3 and 4 day. The day before that was just a 4 and 6 day. The day before that was 500. The day before that was 500. The day before that was 4 and 1. So can we get back to a situation where we're going 4 and 1 and winning a lot of bets rather than, kind of taking it in and losing more than winning? That's what we got to get back to. And also today's tough because when you look at the NHL slate, there's a lot of games. There's a lot going on today. But the problem with the NHL is I can't look at anything objectively today. Why is that? Because every game is an elimination game. And if you've been following me over my website, betonphilwood.com, or if you've been following along and placing the futures that I told you to place over here on this website or on this show, what you're going to realize is pretty much every single thing that is ending today or that is in an elimination game today, I need a side already. So it's really hard to sit here and look at this objectively because, for instance, when I did this for betonphilwood.com, I wrote Tampa Bay Lightning, Columbus Blue Jackets series would be under 5.5 games. Well, that means that today the series needs to end, which means today Tampa Bay needs to win. Now, I think Tampa Bay is going to win. I wrote about that over on my website, and that was one of my free 5 bets, but I'm not going to put that on here today for this because one, the price keeps going up. It's almost at minus 200 now. When I did it yesterday, it was at minus 182. I didn't think it would keep going up, so I find that to be interesting. But second, I can't objectively say, oh, I think the Lightning are the better team in this game because I'm already rooting for them. And I think that that's a problem. So I'm going to sit that one out. Carolina, Boston. I need Carolina to win this game. If Carolina wins this game for the bet I made over on my website, I have that series going over 5.5 games. So I need Carolina to win. If Carolina doesn't win, then that bet loses. So, of course, I'm going to be rooting for Carolina. I don't know, though, So we get to Arizona, Colorado. I wrote about Colorado in my website with Colorado going minus 1.5. I still think that's going to happen. I've just been burned by Colorado so many times over here. We already have a bet on this Colorado game, essentially, if you followed along with me. We had Colorado, Arizona under 5.5 games at plus 100. So I'm going to sit this one out, even though over on the website, if you did follow me over there, you will see that I am confident in Colorado pretty much to pull off the 1.5 goal victory. Montreal versus Philadelphia. We got the Flyers needing that series to go under 5.5 games. And then we have the Canucks in St. Louis, where I like the Canucks to win. So already we have too much going on here. And I gave my 2 most confidence bets over on the website, but I'm not going to put either of them on the card today just because, one, the numbers keep going up. The price keeps getting worse from what we wanted last night. And also, I have so much riding on these games already. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch my futures play out, and then I'm going to go from there, and we'll see what's going on. Ben Ellman, what's up? Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here bright and early. And hopefully you're not disappointed by the fact that I just gave 0 NHL bets because I'm about to give 0 NBA bets as well. I know it's crazy, but the lines are moving in the wrong direction for what I wanted. Raptors are now 11.5 point favorites. The over-under has gone up to 226.5 from 226. I don't really like anything in that game. I searched high and low for player props and could not find anything that I liked. Kyle Lowry's at 20.5. That sounds about right. Like, there's nobody who's jumping out to me. Joe Harris, over 2.5 3-pointers, maybe. But then again, yesterday he went 1 for 4. So I don't know what I feel on that. The NBA has gotten a little bit more difficult. If you watch the Lakers-Blazers game last night, and I'm going to keep riding the Lakers, by the way, and I know that a lot of people are going to be scared away by this because of one game. The Lakers played horrible. They played one of the worst games they could possibly play. They shot 64% from the free throw line or something like that. I think they were 36% from the field. They were absolute garbage yesterday, and they were still up 6 points at one point in the fourth quarter. Blazers go on a 19-6 run to end it, but the Lakers were up 6 in the fourth quarter despite playing as bad as they could play. this Lakers team is better than the Blazers. I know there's a lot of bettors out there right now who, write for websites and do things like that, who are very excited. And I saw somebody was making fun of people for, oh, you think the Blazers stole one from the Lakers? And this is a person who writes for like a pretty big site. You think they stole one? They're a better team than the Lakers. They're not a better team than the Lakers. They are not a better team than the Lakers. The Lakers played terrible. What I didn't think would happen in this first game and what I saw and what I think is going to change as the series progresses, and we'll talk about it on another episode of this, but the Lakers had not played a meaningful game, and the Blazers played nothing but meaningful games. The Blazers are ready to go for playoff basketball. The Lakers weren't. Now the Lakers have gotten a taste. They've gotten a taste of it. They started off terrible and still only lost the game by 7 and were up 6 in the fourth quarter. They're going to figure it out. I'm not sold on the Blazers, but that's not for today. All I'm saying is that the NBA is becoming a little bit more difficult. For instance, Denver Nuggets, Utah Jazz. It's now gone up to 4.5. Last night when I wrote about it, it was 3.5. I don't want to touch this at 4.5. I want to keep it at 3.5. I like 3.5. Why did it have to move? I do like the Nuggets to win this game pretty nicely, though. I was going to put Jamal Murray's 19.5 point over on here, but it's now up to 21, and I just don't like it at 21. I feel like 21 is probably what he's going to score. So 19.5, I was all about it, but 21, I'm not into it. I was looking at Jokic, but Jokic is hit or miss. Donovan Mitchell's at 29.5. I don't know if he's going to do that. Adjustments are going to be made in these second games. And so it's really difficult to sit here and be like, oh, this player is just going to go off. Rudy Gobert's at 15.5. There's another one that I was looking at. But while I think he has a really good matchup against Denver, and he's done well against Denver in the 2 games in the bubble now, I still don't understand if I should trust it or not. So as you're seeing, this is a lot of me just trying to kind of feel it out and take a little bit more calculated risk. Celtics are 5-point favorites. I got them last night at 4.5. With Gordon Hayward out, I'm surprised that the number actually is staying around here. I thought it would have kept going down. So I was really hoping to be able to get this at like 3.5 this morning, but instead it's going in the wrong direction. I think that's because people realize that the Celtics are just a much better basketball team than the 76ers. Joel Embiid is a mismatch. There's no denying it, but everywhere else, there's really nothing going on with the Sixers. The Sixers played a really great game the other day. The Celtics didn't. And the Celtics still got away with the win, and they covered. So that's huge. I mean, that's absolutely monstrous. So I'm going to stay away from this one again, though, too, with this. Clippers Mavericks. I wrote about this one on the website as well. This was the lowest scoring game out of all of the Monday games, which is crazy to me. Kristaps Porzingis being ejected from the game really changed the tone. I like the Clippers to come out and kind of punch the Mavericks in the face. And actually, this one has dropped. So I do like this one, and I am going to go and put it on the card. So congratulations to anybody who thought that they weren't going to get anything out of me for the NBA. You just got one, which is I'm putting the Los Angeles Clippers -6 against the Dallas Mavericks on the card. I think the Clippers played the worst game they could play to still win. And I know that Kristaps Porzingis ended up getting ejected from the game on a total bogus call. There is no denying that it was absolute bogus, but it happened. He was eliminated. And before that, the Clippers played terrible. They started off really hot, and then they just fell apart, and they got sloppy. Again, they haven't played really meaningful games. Their depth is going to start to show here. Doc Rivers is a fantastic basketball coach. They're going to find a way to shut down Luka. They're going to find a way to shut down Porzingis. And after that, they don't really have to worry about much with this Mavericks team. I like the Clippers to cover 6 points in this game, and I'm going to put that on the card. So there you go. We did get an NBA bet in after all. But, it took us a little bit to actually figure something out. There's just a lot. I mean, it's tough right now. It really is. It's a really tough situation with these NBA bets because we're seeing teams that didn't look great in the first game still pull out the victories. And I think that's a huge deal. I think a team that doesn't play good but is the better team finding a way to win in a game they don't look good is a huge deal and is probably going to end up being, the trend. What's funny, though, is when you're betting with the spreads, it doesn't always work out that way because like yesterday's game showed the best game of the day was the Heat and Pacers, and the Pacers didn't cover. The Heat and Pacers was the best game of the day yesterday. And the Pacers, at the end of the day, the Pacers lose by double digits. But in reality, that game was really tight the entire time. If Victor Oladipo does not get hurt, the Pacers win that basketball game. And I stand by that. That bet yesterday at +4.5 was not a bad bet. Oklahoma City's offense in the -1.5 was probably the worst bet I made yesterday. I don't even think the Lakers bet was a bad bet. In the fourth quarter, they were leading by 6. I'm used to LeBron James actually finding ways to close things out. I didn't realize that he had stopped doing that. I think it's going to come back, though, at some point. So, again, it's just, I don't know. It's a very interesting little situation we're in right here with the NBA. So I'm only going to take the Clippers -6. I'm not going to touch anything else for the NBA. Like I said, I don't have any NHL bets here. If you want more, go to betonphilwood.com. Maybe you can see the numbers that I liked as of last night. Maybe you can try to find them today around the same thing. All right, so for the MLB, though, I do have 3 bets for you. So congrats. We're getting there. We actually do have bets for the MLB. The MLB, I've been pretty good since an average start. I had a very so-so start, got off to a 6-6 start. That was all it was. And then I went on a little 4-game run there where I got it all the way up to 10-6. 11-8, 12-8, 13-10. Now we're 14-10. We had the White Sox Tigers first 5 over 4.5. It went over in the second inning. It was very easy. It was nice to see. We loved it. So I got 3 MLB bets today, and I kind of like all of them. And one of them, no, I'm trying to figure out if I want to go with the first 5 or the full game. And I'm having a hard time deciding which is going to be the better move. I think I'm going to end up going with the full game, but I just want to talk it out to myself, essentially. I'm looking at the Houston Astros and the Colorado Rockies. Now, I know this game is being played in Colorado, which means that there should be more runs than normal. But yesterday's game was 2-1, and the game before that wasn't very high scoring either. You have Framber Valdez on the mound for the Astros, and he's looked phenomenal this year. He really has. He gave up 1 earned run. He's got a 1 against the Mariners in his last start. He's got a 1.90 ERA, which is a phenomenal ERA. And then for the Rockies, it's Ryan Castellani. And Ryan Castellani, he's young, but he's been looking good so far. He started 2 games. He's gone 8.2 innings, 10 strikeouts. He's looked good in his games so far, which gives me confidence in him. So I do think, actually, after saying all of that and finally making a decision, I'm going to go, and sorry, my internet gets screwed when I go on Baseball Reference or whatever is the worst website for internet connection. It's so obnoxious. Get better. But after all of that, I'm actually going to go, and I'm going to trust the starters. We got a pretty good price here. I'm going to go Houston, Colorado, first 5, under 6.5 runs at +105. I like the +105 number here. Look, I think 6 runs is feasible. I think that's a nice number, 4-2 to start the game through 5 innings against 2 good pitchers. But I just don't see it going any higher than that. I think both pitchers are looking really good right now. The over-under for the total game right now is at 12.5. I would also go under on that. It just feels like an overreaction to the ballpark they're playing in, which I have a problem with. I do think that playing in Colorado makes a difference, but I don't think it makes like a 6-run difference. I mean, there's lines out there today that are over-under 7, over-under 8.5, and this one's at 12.5 for 2 teams that really haven't been hitting all that well. So I don't like this one. Another one I'm going to go with, though, is the Phillies over 5.5 runs. They're going against Kyle Hart, whose first start came against the Yankees. He got demolished, gave up 5 earned runs in 2 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs total were scored. He got demolished. He got killed. And I don't like his confidence coming into this game. The Phillies bats finally woke up yesterday. I was on the Phillies yesterday, just didn't end up putting it on the card. I was going to. It was one of the last second cuts, which it ended up winning. So, at least I know I'm making the right reads. Their bats are alive, and their over is only at 5.5 runs. This Red Sox team is terrible. They keep giving up runs. They have a pitcher on the mound who isn't good against a team that is starting to find some life in their bats. I like them to go over 5.5 runs. They probably win the game too. But how many games in a row are the Red Sox really going to lose? So I'm not going to take the Phillies on the money line. I'm just going to take the Phillies over 5.5 runs, and maybe they lose a 9-8 game, but they're going over. And finally, my final bet for the day, this is the only other one I have, Texas Rangers over 3.5 runs. Look, I think Chris Woodward is the biggest loser of all time. Chris Woodward is a loser. He is so dumb. He's so boring. Go back to your little hole. Nobody needs you. but the Texas Rangers are going to win this game, I think. Look, I was so excited last night when in the second inning, Myers hits that grand slam. And I just hope that the MLB and the commissioner check with Chris Woodward to make sure he was okay with that grand slam, because his pitchers aren't the problem. The problem is that the Padres batters are just hitting the ball too hard. That's the issue here. So I think people need to check with Chris Woodward, make sure he was okay with that grand slam, and then we can move on from there. Guy's just a buffoon. What a loser. Grow up, get a good pitching staff, or just put Lance Lynn on the mound every game, right? Lance Lynn's getting the start for the Rangers here, and he has been stellar to start the season. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I think he's been great. His last game was a complete game against the Rockies, 2-hitter, 1 earned run. He's got a 1.11 ERA on the season. He has just looked phenomenal. He really has. On the other side, you have sorry, I got to find it here. I'm losing my train of thought. But on the other side, you have Chris Paddack going for the Padres, and Chris Paddack has been hit or miss this season. He started off really, really hot, and then he has just progressively gotten worse. I don't really know who's going to win the game. I like the Rangers to win it. So if you want to take the money line at plus 116, which is where it's at right now, go ahead and take it. However, I worry that the Rangers just still aren't that good of a team. So what happens if they get off to a or Lance Lynn actually gives up runs finally? I mean, we've seen it happen. Shane Bieber has shown some, he's been hit a couple times. He gives up home runs. Like, people are starting to give up runs in the MLB now. It's not like people are going to pitch, with a 1.11 ERA as a starter for the entire season. It's not going to happen. So maybe they start to give up runs. But the one thing I do like here, and the over-under is only at 7, which I think is very, very low. I think this should be higher. It's already actually gone up to 7.5. But what is still low is the Rangers are over 3.5 runs. And I like the Rangers to go over 3.5 runs in this game. They've scored over that in their last 2 games against the Padres. I think this is actually a better pitching matchup for them going against Chris Paddack. I don't want to take the game over in case Lance Lynn throws another gem and the Padres only score 1 or 2 runs, although the Padres are going to have to hit another grand slam just so we can watch Chris Woodward cry from whatever dungeon he lives in. Oh my God, the whole baseball unwritten rule thing. It's why nobody likes your sport. It's why nobody cares about your sport. Nobody watches it. It's because you guys have these stupid little gentleman rules. And I love, somebody put up, there was a game where the Mariners were winning 14-2 and ended up losing the game 15-14 in extra innings. Baseball doesn't have a clock. You don't want to have somebody hit a home run off of you. And I know people have probably seen this all day yesterday and everything. But if you don't want somebody to hit a home run off of you on a 3-0 pitch, don't throw 3 balls and then throw a ball straight down the middle to a batter with the bases loaded. Like, be better. Be better. It's a joke, and it's just so frustrating, and that's why I have to bring it up a second day. And I can't believe I'm actually taking a positive Rangers thing here. But again, betting is about betting with your heart. It's about betting with your mind. And right now, I think the Rangers are hungry for a win. I'm going to take them over 3.5 runs, and I'm going to put it on the card, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to hope they lose the game 15-4 so that I can watch Chris Woodward cry like a little baby, because he is a little baby. Okay, I feel better now. There's probably baseball fans out there who hate me, but I don't care, because God, what a debacle. What a joke. What a joke. I mean, people got intentionally walked before me when I was playing Little League Baseball. The batter before me was intentionally walked. I struck out with the bases loaded. And then we went on to win the championship over that exact same team in my little town because I started hitting the ball like crazy. Moral of the story, if a little leaguer can adjust, a professional athlete can adjust, overcome the circumstances, and pitch better. Be better. Stop being a joke, but get me 4 runs today, please, Texas Rangers. That's what I need. So this is my card today. It's a small card, but I will also give you what I have left for the NHL in terms of futures. So for today's card, we got the Texas Rangers over 3.5 runs, Phillies over 5.5 runs, Houston, Colorado, first 5 under 6.5 runs at plus 105. It's too good of a number to pass up, I feel like, especially for 2 teams that haven't been scoring that much with 2 good pitchers on the mound. For the NBA, the only thing I got is the Clippers -6. I think they take it to Dallas. I don't think Dallas is very good. Don't get distracted by the fact that just because Porzingis was taken out of the game is not the only reason why Dallas lost that game. And then for the futures that we still have open for the NHL, Philadelphia, Montreal, under 5.5 games. We need a Philly win today. Colorado, Arizona, under 5.5 games. We need a Colorado win today. And Vancouver to win the series. We really need a Vancouver win today, because if they go down 3-2 to St. Louis is winning that series, and I could see them pulling a Capitals run from the season where they went down 2-0, then won that series 4-2 and went on to win the Stanley Cup. I could see that happening with the St. Louis Blues here. So the Canucks need to stop the momentum here. They need to get the power play under control. Their power play was atrocious in the last game. 0 for 7, had so many opportunities, did not put the puck in the back of the net. I was looking at the Philadelphia Flyers Montreal under today, but at the same time, I just want to sit there and be able to root for the Flyers to score goals and win the game. Carter Hart has had 2 shutouts in a row. That series has been an amazing defensive battle and an amazing inept offense battle. It's been really, really sad. It looks like the Flyers, if they win this series, are going to have to take on the Islanders, even though the Islanders did lose to the Capitals last night. But if the Flyers take on the Capitals or the Islanders are going to kill them if the Flyers keep playing the way they're playing right now. So that's all a side note. Those are my bets for the day. Only got 4 of them. Only got 4 of them. If you want more, bet on philwood.com. I do have some more NBA over there. I have more NHL over there. The numbers have just all moved in directions that I don't really like, aside from the Clippers. So go ahead over there. You can take a look. Maybe you like something, maybe you don't. Look, I just give you the numbers that I like the night before, and then I stay away from it the day of. And we're going to hit 100. That means we're going to hit 100 bets today. Right now, we're at 97 of them. We're at 53 and 44. Look, the percentage has gone down, but as long as you're between 53 and 56%, you're winning money. So, especially when you're getting plus 400 bets, like on the Portland Trailblazers, plus 120 bets on the Trailblazers over whatever. And then you also have these under bets for the series, where if the Montreal Philly game series ends today, the Colorado Arizona series ends today, those are plus 100, plus 102. Those are good numbers. You've been following me on my website. The NHL future bets I gave you really are in play. If the Dallas Stars beat the Calgary Flames, you hit a plus 525. That will be my best called shot, probably of all time. So make sure you're paying attention to what I'm doing both here and on the website. I'm not going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to take the day off because I want to sit down and I want to watch those NBA games just with an open mind and see what's really going on. I was really off on them yesterday, so I want to just kind of take it in. Right now, early line that I'm really liking is the Pacers at plus 5.5, but I want to see what ends up happening with Oladipo. Other than that, I will see everybody on Friday when I'm back on